welcome back to Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews. If you're new here on this channel, I share with you delightful, family-friendly, and faith-based movies and television shows. So as y'all know, we are back with the movie chat. I usually try to keep the movie chats on the weekend because some of y'all are a little bit more freer on the weekends and are much more willing or have the time to sit through a chat, okay? That usually be about, 20, 30 minutes, somewhere in that range. I never really know. Of course, I always plan for it to be short and sweet, but at the end of the day, that's what a chat is, okay? We don't know what's going down. We don't know what's about to go down, okay? We don't know, but we here for it, all right? So, as y'all know, earlier this week, we did a review on Where Is Good, okay? I have to give y'all a little mini refresher course because some of y'all probably didn't watch the film. For those of you who have, good job. I'm proud of you. Or if you watched the review, good job. I'm definitely proud of you. But yeah, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm just gonna go ahead and just let you know what this film is about, so you kind of have an idea of where I'm coming from. And it is about Hannah goes to a friend's birthday party, and the next morning she wakes up in a hotel room with no memory of the previous night. Okay, what that sound like to y'all? All right, what it really sound like? Okay, I know when I didn't read what it was about before I just watched the film, so I got a little bit of a treat there because I really had no idea what I was walking into. I just knew that, okay, it's supposed to be faith-based, but I have to tell y'all about that opening scene. This is exactly what's happening, but it's not Hannah. It's with another girl, another young woman, rather. Something obviously went down. They don't really show what happened, but we see her wake up in like this bathtub and with no recollection of what really happened prior to this time. And when I'm watching this, I'm thinking to myself, am I watching, did I accidentally click on something? Because I watched it on YouTube. I was like, did I accidentally click on something? Because this don't seem like no faith-based. And and that's where I should not be thinking that. Like, seriously, I shouldn't. If faith-based films had more of a range to them where, you won't be thinking that. Like, it shouldn't be, yes, we know that it's going to be clean, that we shouldn't be seeing something we got no business seeing. So that's always a plus in all these type of films. But at the same time, as far as subject matter, it shouldn't be like some kind of, where in my mind, like I thought, am I watching the right film here? Or what? Did I accidentally click on something? Because I'm interested. I want to know what went down, but what in the world really went down? That's what I was saying to myself. And so when that happened, and then of course the police involved, and then we got to see, okay, the story, the plot here is a little bit starting to unfold, and we're like, okay, I can kind of see what path we're on here. I'm interested because we have a little bit of a mystery here, giving me a sense of a little bit, slightly, a little bit of that thriller, that little bit of edge to it. But at the same time, of course, I'm here for it. You have my attention. I am interested. I need to see what happened and how this unfolds. How do we get here? Where we going? And what is going to be the conclusion of this matter? Okay, that's where I'm at when I see this happen. When I see, okay, the detectives are here, and apparently they have somebody, a serial person out here who is doing this to women and doing it the same way. Have numerous women waking up in this predicament and not remembering anything. And of course, this is not able to help the detectives because they're like, he is washing away the evidence because number one, the women don't remember, and then there's nothing on their body that indicates this because you're waking up in a tub of water. So obviously a lot of different things are erased here in a sense. And so I'm like, okay, we got that going on. And then here it makes it more personal because now the film is introducing us to a character here. Her name is Hannah. It's painting a picture for us so we can kind of have a connection with the character. Okay, y'all know that's what makes films worth it more, when your heart is invested in it, because you can relate to this character somehow, or you feel for her. You begin to feel empathy or sympathy or something for her. So we are introduced to Hannah, and right off the bat, she's very, very likable. Like, seriously, you see this is a woman of God. She's a woman of faith here. She has her cross around her neck. Not that that is an indication of it, but we do see certain things. But just how the way she carries herself, how the way that she talks, how she relating to her husband here in a very respectable manner. like seems so in love with him. It almost looks like it's painting this picture like they've been together, like they're almost newlyweds. That's how it feels, because like even when like he's leaving the house, you know, get ready to go to work, she is obviously missing him already, and the love and affection that is being exchanged throughout the beginning here is like, wow, did these two just get married or something? Even though I feel like if it should be like that all throughout the marriage, even if y'all married like 20 years or whatever, 30, 40 years, I would still like to see the exchange that we saw with Hannah and her husband here in this film, where it would even make a person think, did they just get married? But that's how I feel like love should be. I feel like marriage should be. Of course, we don't always see that in the world that we're living in. That is not most people's story. Most people end up with a total different story, even if they had good intentions at the beginning. And you can see here that there were good intentions here. You can see that these two made a choice together, that they, like, it wasn't no outer circumstances involved, like, okay, let's get married because you pregnant, or, you know, let's just people arrange marriage, somebody just threw y'all together or something like that. We don't see none of that. So we see right here, okay, y'all two had something special, y'all made this decision, and it is amazing so far. And we learned a little bit later that they've been together, I think probably like 3 years. So to me, that's still kind of like newlywed, because y'all ain't even been in there long enough to really start to experience some things for the most part. I mean, there are some people who have even been married, you know, that amount of time, really going through the fire. But for most people, they're not, you know, probably haven't even smelt the smoke yet, okay? So anyways, so it's painting that picture, and of course there were some surprises here in this film, because that is the picture that was painted, I said. So you could tell it seems like these two really love each other. Then we start to see when they start to smell the fire, or more so when they in the fire, okay, that it wasn't as what it seems. So that's why I feel like there was so many different life lessons here, y'all. For those of you out there, you know, considering marriage one day, or in the engagement phase, or whatever, you know, like one of the first things that this film teaches us here, you need to know that you know the person that you are basically going into covenant with, okay? You need to really know them, not just know them in the good times, like, okay, because everybody gonna be sweet and cute and wonderful and say all the right things in the good times, but what is like when just a little bit of something happen? What is it like when things don't go your way? What is it, what is going to be your response? Are you the type that's going to flip out, get angry, take it out on that individual? Or are you the type that's going to withdraw yourself, isolate yourself, and kind of just need time alone to process your emotions? Or are you the type that's going to, okay, let's sit down, let's talk about this, okay? Are you a person that really knows how to express yourself? You have emotional intelligence. You're like, okay, this is what's bothering me, and can you help me work through this? We need to work through this together. We're a team, we're one. That's how God sees us. First of all, let's pray, and then let's take it from there. Let's see where God leads. I mean, you know, there's so many different scenarios, okay? But we need to know before we go into covenant with somebody where this person falls into. Okay, so that's one of the things that I took with this film. And obviously, Hannah's a person that did like most people do, all right? You got married, you only saw the person in the good times. You only saw the smooches, the wishes, and all of these kind of things, sweep you off your feet, all of that, make you laugh, all that kind of stuff. That's all you really saw, okay? Because if that wasn't all what you really saw, you wouldn't have been surprised when you got something else, all right? When things went down, okay? But before we even get to that, all right? Okay, we 9 minutes in, all right? We still got a little bit of time, okay? So, Hannah has this best friend, right? I think her name is Jennifer. Let me make sure. I think that's her name, but I want to make sure we got this girl right. Okay, yes, her best friend name was Jennifer, right? Jennifer is, I mean, some of y'all maybe relate. Some of y'all probably have friends that y'all are really close to that's going down a different path than you on, except that the path that you are on, but still doing their own thing. And that is Jennifer here. Jennifer knows and respects that Hannah is married, that Hannah is a woman of faith. Hannah's trying to live her life right. Although they met, I believe, probably, obviously, when they were a lot younger than what they are. I think they were probably like in college or something. Whatever it is, it hinted certain scenes in this film that Hannah and Jennifer met at a time when they both were really young and they were just out there just doing their thing, and they could relate then, and that's probably how they got close and got a connection, because they were on the same page. And then at some point, Hannah grew up. Hannah decided to change her life. She decided to put God first, become a woman of faith here, and now she's married, and she's trying to live that married life. She's respecting herself, she's respecting and honoring God, and she's honoring and respecting her husband and their relationship here. However, Jennifer is still on the path that she's on, okay? She's still out there, she's still doing her thing. And yes, she respects Hannah to a degree where she's not trying to like break that up or cause it an issue, at least not directly, but indirectly she's causing it an issue, because she is, you know, asking Hannah every time she turns around, she asking Hannah to go this place, to be a part of this thing or whatever. She's not forcing it, she's not, you know, condemning her for the path that she's on, but just presenting the idea to someone who you know that's trying to live their life differently shows me what kind of friend that you are, because that shows me that you really don't care and love and respect me like I love and respect you. Because if you see I'm over here trying to do the right thing and live my life a certain kind of way, even if you don't feel like it's right, but you see me over here doing my thing and trying to live a different life than you, don't come up in my space telling me, okay, you want to go to a party and all this kind of stuff. Don't do that, because you already know I'm not on that no more. So Jennifer, you need to go about your business, okay? And Hannah should have been more direct with her in that way, but at the same time, Hannah is non-confrontational. You can tell she's not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. At the end of the day, Jennifer is still her best friend. She still loves her. And you know, that's really what it is. And on top, not only that Jennifer is like that, but she has this ex-boyfriend named Chris, I think, and he's just been a hot mess. He has been in and out of Jennifer's life, causing her so many issues, from cheating on her to just doing the most. Been in and out of jail and different things like that, and she still, you know, was giving him chances, but now she's at her cutoff point, trying to not, you know, he's back home now and got out, newly released, and she's trying to get back in her life again, and she's like trying to cut it off. Like she ain't trying to go down that path anymore. They done been down that path, that road, too many different times, and Hannah feels the same way. And Hannah's still, but Hannah's husband, you know all of this, and Hannah's husband is like telling her, look, you need to just cut Jennifer off completely, because she obviously, you know, is still attached to Chris, still kind of, even if she don't want to be with him like that, she's still out there. Like she's not on what we on. And he's constantly telling like Hannah this, like, you need to leave them alone, let them live their own life, and don't hang out with her. And Hannah feels him and understands his concerns, and for the most part she's been doing great in that area. However, her husband is going out of town, I guess for work, so she's home this particular, I guess, weekend. We don't call it a weekend, all right? She home, right? And Jen hits her up talking about some, okay, let's go out to a party, like a birthday party, something simple. You know, it's just a birthday party, basically. It's nothing bad, nothing like that. And she was like, and try to look cute, okay? Don't be basically coming out here how you be dressing, you know, how you be dressing. You know, try to look a little bit like you done did yourself up a little bit. And Jen was like reluctant at first, and even though her husband told her, you know, warned her, she still was like, okay, still kind of, you know, debating in her mind, okay? And so Jen was like, asked her again, finally broke her down, and she's like, okay, but basically putting a limit on your, you know, like she basically not gonna be there alone, you know, kind of in and out. She'll do this. So she come out looking all cute and stuff with her little black dress on, still wearing her cross, I guess, to, you know, remind her, you know, who she is, who she's serving, all that kind of stuff, which I agree. But at the same time, I have to say this, all right? Y'all know I told y'all about her husband warned her about this, like basically just leave Jen alone and cut that friendship off. You don't need to be hanging out with her like that. I really feel like, even though I know Hannah acknowledged him and she was willing to, you know, willing to, I guess in a sense, kind of lay off a little bit with Jen, not be out there like that, but at the same time I don't really think she took it to the extent that he meant it, because he wasn't yelling about it. He was very, very calm about it, and for the most part he wasn't pressing about it. He said it, but at the same time he wasn't trying to like hammer the nail in the wall type of deal. He was just like, okay, you know, he's telling her, well, she's doing the right thing, but she just didn't take it as serious as what he meant. Like, for him, I know he meant, like, don't do it, like, leave her alone, I'm serious, like, serious, this can cause an issue with us. He didn't go it that far. He still gave her room to do whatever she thought was best. And so for in that arena, I'm gonna say that I agree with him, but at the same time, with Hannah, I felt like she really should have took that to heart. Okay, anyways, so she ended up going out with Jen. They go to this birthday party, right? Looking all cute, everything. And so, of course, you're gonna get approached. Got approached by some guys. Of course, Jen down, because she already still, as you could tell, trying to get over her ex, willing to accept whatever. She's still in that world. She's still outside, all right? Jen get approached. I mean, Hannah gets approached, and Hannah's like, no. She makes it clear that she's happily married. Not that only she's married, she's happily married. So, you know, I'm cheering for her. I'm like, yay, Hannah, let it be known. Okay, at least you're not trying to be deceitful. At least you ain't trying to, you know, break your vows or anything like that. Anyways, y'all, so Jen, lo and behold, Chris called her ex, Jen ex, and she has Hannah answer the phone, basically tell Hannah, you know, kind of get rid of him. She really don't want to talk to him right now. She's trying to do her thing, trying to move on or whatever. So Hannah goes out in the hall talking to Jen ex, and basically in a calm voice telling him, you know, like she think that they should move on. You know, Jen is fine. Y'all should just move on. You know, it's over and done with, basically. So she goes back in. They offered them some drinks, and Hannah, like, whoever the girl, the host of the party, goes and get it, bring it back. You know, well, one of the guys that Hannah was there, well, who was trying to get at Hannah, he went with her. They came back. You already sensing something funny, something about to go down. Like, you don't need to be going trusting anybody with your drinks, you know. You letting people disappear and you don't know what's going on. So you already feeling that way as the viewer, and you're just hoping that, oh my goodness, please don't let them terrible what happened to this girl, because you want the best for Hannah, like her trying to do the right thing, happily married, all this kind of good stuff. So the guy come back, she drinks this drink, and then there we go. We start to see her kind of going in and out of it. You know, we obviously know at this point something is in the drink, but we just don't. And I'm already feeling some kind of way, getting mad at the guy that who was trying to get at her, but he still was respectful. Once he learned that she was married, he really wasn't pressing her or anything like that. So you really hear nothing else, no exchange as far as like that is concerned. But why she's like having these little, like, just seeing stuff and all kind of stuff just going, you just see the screen going all in and out, because that's what's going on in her mind after she done drunk this, and he's asking her questions, and I'm like, what you trying to do, buddy? Okay, are you trying to play it off like you don't know what you done did? You don't put something in this girl drinking, and you trying to ask questions and try to be all nice and friendly when you don't know what you done did to this girl? That's why I was thinking. I was getting so upset about that. But then after that point, I know he offered to take her back to her room, and then we just know at this point Hannah wakes up in the bathtub, just like all these other girls did at the beginning of this film. Don't know what happened, like her wedding ring ain't even on her finger, all kind of stuff. So you know she is in panic mode, in a sense, quietly freaking out. She's not outwardly doing it, because then she see her friend pass out on the bed, and she even asking Jen still kind of hungover, even asking Jen like, what happened, how did I get back here, do you know what happened? And Jen still like in and out of it, like, I don't know, basically. Like, somebody, the guy, whoever she was with, said he was gonna take her back to the room. She don't really know what went down. So Hannah starts to, you know, go through all these different things, start to think what most people would think in that situation, like, were you taken advantage of, and all kind of stuff like that. And when I thought, and I'm like, okay, so is she gonna go to the police or whatever about this? And she don't even do that, and then I can understand, because she's still in a state of shock, cannot believe that she allowed something like this to happen to her, and being in this situation. There's so many different emotions is going through this girl's head, and I can understand it, why she didn't go right away. I mean, certain things just happen. She's still, and then we start to see that she just wants this to disappear. Her husband is going to be coming back in town from work. She kind of just wants to sweep it under the rug and not think about it. But you can tell it's still affecting her, because she's laying in bed throughout the afternoons and stuff, which is not like her. She's not up and about doing things. And her husband comes back, and he notices the change. She seems very withdrawal, Like, she's just withdrawn from him. She doesn't want to touch him. She doesn't want him to touch her, or none of these different things. And so it's like weeks go on and she's still behaving like this in this manner, and he's just freaking out in the sense, like, he don't understand. Like, this is like not the same woman you loved when you went out of town. So what is up? And that's what I am thinking at the same time. Like, that's what she's giving off for a person who wants to make like this is going to, you know, like it never happened. You're really doing a terrible job at making like, you know, something what did happen in a sense, you know. And so then she find out, y'all, because she's going through all of this. And y'all have to know, right? Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. At the beginning of this film, Hannah is like outside the clinic with all of these people who are anti, you know, getting rid of your children, all right, your unborn child. She's out there with them and trying to reach these women before they go into this clinic that makes these decisions. And she has this conversation with her husband at the beginning of this film. Like, she don't understand why God would won't give them a child, and they're ready and prepared for a child. They're married and they want a kid, like really want a child. They've been praying about this, but you would give it to all these other women who don't, and young girls and stuff who do not even want their kid, and making these choices. So she don't understand that, and she's just like, I would never do this. This is horrible. Like, how can a person even think to do this and all this stuff? So she's, you know, like most people be thinking. And not to say, because I said in my review, I'm not saying either way, okay? All I am just pointing out the facts within this film, okay? That's all I am doing. So that's what Hannah was on, okay? Her husband felt her too, but they're like, we're still gonna keep trying. We're still gonna keep praying about this. And so when, you know, I'm fast forwarding again back to where we were, y'all. Also, when he comes back, okay? And, you know, and she finally taught, and she started to put things together in her mind. Like, she's feeling all this way. She's extremely tired. Weeks went by. The situation that happened, her mind goes back to, okay, you know, her husband did, you know, trying to have a kid. And so she started to think, okay, is that thought crossed her mind, did it finally happen? Are we finally pregnant now? So she go get a pregnancy test, y'all, and then it comes back positive, okay? So in her mind, instead of even thinking that it is her husband's right away, that was not the case, because she was freaking out. She was not happy. She was not like in a place of like you would think a woman would be, a happy wife would be. Her mind went back to that incident, y'all. And so she is freaking out. She mentioned it to Jen, and Jen is like, we need to go to the authorities, okay? And she's like not even trying to do that. And so now with this test being positive, she has no choice but to face it and actually tell her husband, okay? And this is where the issue comes in for me at this point that I mentioned in the review, okay? I didn't mention this particular part in the review, but why I was just so upset and feeling some kind of way is because what I'm about to tell y'all now. Because when she tells her husband, number one, I understand you being angry. I get that. I know that you're not happy, all right? But for you to totally like flip the script, okay, and tell your wife that basically she needs to get rid of this, you need to eliminate this so-called issue, get rid of this pregnancy, that was my issue. Because you and this lady, y'all been praying day in and day out for a baby, and all of this stuff, how y'all anti getting rid of this. Y'all don't agree with all of these women and young girls who are in this situation, but then you make the same decision as well and encourage your wife to do that. Number one, before this even happened, Hannah was already thinking this herself and went down to the clinic, but she just couldn't do it for whatever reason. She just couldn't make herself do it. So she had to reveal it to her husband, and for her husband to come back. Well, number one, he made her go to the police. So they straightened all of that out, the investigators. So they were able actually to catch the person who was doing this, who not only did this to Hannah, but did it to multiple women. Hannah was like the key to that, okay? So that was pretty cool. That was nice that, you know, there was justice in that area. So she found out that it wasn't even the guy who she was even with that night that did it to her. He actually turned out to be the good guy, okay? But anyway, so when her husband, back to her husband, who I can't stand with his stank self, okay? So you see that your wife actually did not cheat on you. this unfortunate event happened to your wife, okay? That is one thing alone that you're never gonna get past. All that trauma, okay? These are, and y'all know, because some of y'all watching this probably experienced a level of this type of trauma, being taken advantage of, whether it was physically, emotionally, financially, whatever, okay? Many women have experienced some level of trauma in this arena, okay, at some point in your life. So that is enough that follows you pretty much the rest of your life, that you have moments that your mind goes back to that moment, that you just have to fight, you know, and cast it down in the name of Jesus and press forward and forgive yourself and forgive the person that even was a part of the situation. So that's one thing that does not go away, that you don't forget, okay? So Hannah's already dealing with that. And then on top of, she has to deal with you telling her to eliminate the situation. And Hannah even said, for all we know, this could be yours, and this is what you want to do to your kid. And he's pretty much convinced, as she was, you know, that this is probably not theirs, because they already been trying for many, many years. So, you know, it probably isn't, you know. And I get that, but for all you know, it could have been. But we do find out that it wasn't. At the very, very end of this film, we find out that it wasn't theirs, which was fine, because he ends up leaving Hannah. You know, he, number one, when he presented the idea for her to take care of the situation, he gonna pay for it, all this kind of stuff, Hannah lets him know, and he even offers, okay, I'm gonna be there with you to take care of the situation. I will go down there to the place with you, so you don't have to do this alone. And Hannah feels some kind of way about that, almost like what you mean? That ain't saying nothing. That is not making the situation better. That is not making this go away just because you in the room with me, because you took me down or you ushered me down there. That's how I was feeling when he telling her, like he doing something by telling her that oh, I'm gonna be there. I'll make sure basically you're okay. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna be there. That don't do nothing, buddy. Okay. Because you ain't the one about to get on this table. You ain't the one about to make this decision before God and have to deal with the consequences. You're not going to have to deal with that. You're not going to think about this day in and day out of what decision that you just made. Okay? Because once this happened, you move on like it's nothing, because it ain't your body. And so I got Hannah, even though she didn't express that in that moment, but you can see all of those things that I just said, like literally on her face. Like, what are you saying? Like, you act like you doing something right now by what you just said, okay? And so number one, his response was just off. It was off-putting, offsetting, whatever, all just off, okay? And I just really didn't like that. It really made me feel some kind of way about this, because you are a man of God. You are the head of your household. This is your wife at the end of the day, and you saw, there was proof, there was evidence, even from the detectives that said that this happened. Your wife, this is really what she told you, even though she didn't remember nothing that happened. What she told you, that she did not commit adultery on you or any of these things, that was confirmed, okay, in the evidence with the detectives. So you know that your wife been taken advantage of, you know, she and all of this stuff, all right? So you know all of that. Then on top of this, as a result of that, she's pregnant now, and that is like the most you can do for her. That's the most you can offer her, is you will be by her side by taking her down to that place, the same place that y'all was talking about these other people being self-righteous and condemning these other people from going down there, and you about to take me down there. What you trying to say? What you trying to do? Okay, so yes, I felt some kind of way. I really did, because this is what it really shows us in real life. Sometimes you don't have to, because Hannah never voiced this to none of these women who was in this situation that she's now in, who is considering something like this. She never voiced how she really felt about that, you know, like, well, she voiced obviously just being down there, okay, it's wrong, but she never went as far as, like, basically in her mind, how she judged them harshly, okay, in her mind, even though it didn't come out of her mouth. But God knows her heart. And so here you are in the same situation that you put yourself in, because you made a decision to go to that party that night, and even her husband pointed that out to her. You did this was your fault, okay? And I understand that you want to release that anger, because you did tell her not to go down there, but at the end of the day, we in a situation, okay? We can't go back and change that night. And that's what Hannah basically told him. Okay, you were right, I shouldn't have been there, but we're here now. So what are we gonna do about this now? Okay, how are we gonna go forward in all of this? And Hannah ultimately, and this is the question that I had for y'all, this is the question that I have for y'all. Did she have to choose between God and her husband? And some people and so many women get themselves in a situation, it may not be exactly like this what Hannah is dealing with, in a situation that you have to choose between the person that you so-called in a relationship with, or with God. That's what you're doing when, number one, you do things before you're married. When someone allow you to put yourself, or try to convince you to give your body away to them, who is obviously not worthy of it because you're not married, okay? They're willing to take this gift from you and not be there for the responsibility of it. And they're saying to you in that moment, you're not worth it. You're not worth my love. You're not worth my happily ever after. You're not worth any of these things. But yeah, sure, I'll take what you got to offer me. I'll take this gift. I don't need to be worthy of it. It don't belong to me, but yes, I would take it. And so that's what you're doing. You're choosing this person over God when you make those kind of decisions. When you make the decision to be in fornication, when you make the decision to be an adulterer. When you make the decision to be in this, when you step outside your marriage and choose someone and choose to be caught up in somebody when you're that is not your husband or wife, your spouse. You are choosing this person over God because you know within your mind what God would say, what will honor him. And you allow other people, the devil uses and chooses to you allow them to convince you otherwise, when you know within yourself that is wrong, and you know the choices that you're making in that moment. And it's like the same thing with Hannah. It was wrong for Hannah to be at that party. Yes, she shouldn't have went against her husband in that, but ain't no sense in keep making bad decisions. You already made one, and that got you in the situation you're in now. And I love that Hannah made a decision in that moment. I'm not going to continue down this path, okay? I already messed up. I'm not going to continue down that path. And some of us not understand that because many of us have been in this situation, all right? You make one bad decision and you end up with a terrible consequence, and then you feel like there's no turning back, like you're just stuck. So you keep making even more decisions, like even more bad decisions that make it worse. And I love that Hannah cut it off at the door. Yes, she made a wrong decision, by being at that party. But which brings me to my question, because we already 30 minutes in, so I want to make sure I answer it, because we don't even go into an hour on these things. But okay, so did Hannah have to choose between God and her husband? Yes, she did. Because yes, she didn't listen to him the first time, and that got her in this situation that she's in. She could have said to herself, okay, I ain't listened to you the first time, let me listen to you now. But this time around, he was wrong. He wanted her to go to that clinic and take care of this situation. But it wasn't a situation to Hannah. To Hannah, this was a choice. This was a life that didn't ask to be here. This was a life that had nothing to do with none of these things what brought this life here. Okay, and I love that Hannah decided, okay, in this moment, I didn't listen to God the first time, who was speaking through my husband, but I'm gonna listen to God now at whatever cost. And let me tell y'all, it cost her, and it does cost to listen to God. Let me tell y'all that. People be thinking it's gonna go smooth with making that choice when you do listen to God, but that isn't always the case. It's smooth in the long term of things, when you look at things long term, but sometimes you lose stuff right in that moment. And Hannah lost her husband. She lost this so-called perfect life, this happily ever after, because people would look at her, even Jen looked at her, like, wow, like it just looked like she just has it all, like things are just wonderful and perfect for her, the perfect husband, perfect life, all these different things. And she lost all of that just by making the choice of keeping her baby, to honor God and to save this life that was inside of her. And she knew she'd been praying for a baby for many years, and no, it didn't come the way that she thought it would have, but it did come. And I love that she made the decision, which was so hard to have to do this alone. For 9 months, this lady had to carry this baby, y'all. Carry this baby that she knew was that partially belonged to a person that was just evil, had evil embedded in them, and still love this child beyond that, because she had the love of Christ inside of her. And let me tell y'all, because this is why I want to do a movie chat about this, because there are times in life we don't understand. Sometimes your choices put you in places that put you in difficult places, like it did for Hannah. And yes, it's gonna be tough in that moment to turn back around and say, you know what, because that's what repentance is. Not only asking God for forgiveness, but turning around, leaving that spot where you was and going the opposite direction. And that's what Hannah did in this film. And it was hard. It was not easy for her. And I love that this film showed us that it was hard. It wasn't easy. It wasn't something that was just overnight. Okay, I made a bad decision. Now on the next day, and now that I chose to do the right thing. Okay, now the next moment is happy ever after. No, it wasn't. Hannah lost her husband. She lost the life that they built. She lost those promises that he made. She lost every single thing that meant anything to her to follow Christ and to raise a baby to follow the Lord as well. Because we do get to see a little bit of that, her teaching her baby prayer and all these different things. And it cost her to live a life in a sense of loneliness, because she didn't get married again. There was not another person in the corner to come and pick up that slack and to be with her. She was a single mom that didn't necessarily, in a sense, ask to be in that situation, but she did the right thing. And for those of you out there who are facing this decision, it ain't gotta be like Hannah's, but your decision is your decision. Okay, when we in something, it's a big thing to us. It is grand. It is huge. All right. And I want to encourage you, whatever decision that you are in, will have to make, whatever your circumstances is, you can't go wrong with choosing God over whatever your feelings are, over whatever this person, so-called person who claimed to love you, may say, even if that person is your spouse, because that person was her spouse in the situation. And at the end of the day, it is God first, okay? And everything else gotta fall back, all right? So that's all I wanted to say in this movie chat. I know I said a lot, but it was just a lot on my mind that I really wanted to, I didn't really want to like go in on like just being angry at this husband for what he did, what he put his wife through and different things like that, but just mostly pointing out, because I know that we as human beings, we deal with stuff, and nobody may not understand your stuff like you because you're in it. But at the end of the day, the same decision has to be made, and it has to be God. It has to be God first, like seriously. So we're gonna go ahead and get into our scripture before I leave y'all for this evening. I think I marked it, okay? Did I not mark it? Oh my goodness. I think I marked it, y'all. Do I have to pause this video and come back to y'all the scripture? I think I'm gonna have to do that. Okay, so I'll be right back. Hey y'all, I am back. It turns out I had the scripture marked. I just went to the wrong place. Anyways, let me hurry up and read this to y'all. Okay, so we're coming out of Matthew chapter 22 verse 37, and it reads, Jesus said to him, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And that's really at the end of the day what it has to be, no matter what. We gotta go out like that. So anyways, y'all remember to drop y'all all comments. Well, drop whatever y'all got to say, y'all thoughts, all that good stuff in the comment section below, because y'all know I read them. I love to hear from y'all, and I really want to know what y'all have to say about this. Have you ever been in this situation where you had to choose between God and someone else, or even yourself? Because whatever be going, your little feelings and stuff, do you ever have to do that and just choose him? I want to hear about all of that. So until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you both now and forevermore.